God is always on time. He is never too early, and he is never too late. There's so much to this truth in this single verse that I'm about to share with you today. You may find it to be a peculiar verse in this instance, but I just want to encourage you today that God is always on time. Genesis chapter 41 and verse 1 tells us, "And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river." Now, even though this verse is starting to talk about Pharaoh's dreams that he would have, I can't help but to think about Joseph and the road of God's plan that he has been on and through, because this is a part of Joseph's story. He was sold into slavery by his brothers, and while serving at Potiphar's house, he would be falsely accused of rape and sentenced to prison. And even in his story, we see that the butler whom he served and helped by interpreting his dream would forget about him when Joseph told him to remember him after he had been restored to his position. And so for 2 full years, Joseph would still be in prison. Joseph would still be in slavery. Ever wondering, ever questioning, has God forgotten me? Has God heard my cries and my pleas? And this has been going on since he was 17 years old. For some of us, that season, that time may be longer. But no matter the length of time that it's been, whether it's been 10 minutes and whether it's been 10 years, we can fall into the mindset of forgetting about the character of God. We could forget about his sovereignty. We could forget about his goodness. We could forget about his mercy. But most of all, we could forget about his presence. Thankfully, in this story, this verse is actually a turning point, because in those 2 years, God was there molding and preparing Joseph for this moment, because Pharaoh would have his dreams. The butler would remember Joseph. Joseph would be summoned from prison. He would interpret the Pharaoh's dreams. He would be placed in a position to not only save his family, but to save a nation. In those 2 years, God was there, molding and preparing him for this moment, to not only display his goodness, but to display his grace. I don't know how long your season may last. I don't know what kind of season you're going through. But what I can encourage you is that in your season, if the mindset of forgetting about the character of God comes up, if the questioning comes up, has God forgotten me? Has God abandoned me? Has God not heard my prayers, my cries, and my pleas? I want to encourage you to remember the character of God, that he is sovereign, that he is full of grace, that he is full of mercy, that he is good. But most of all, I pray that you remember his presence, that he is always there, that he is always working, but most of all, that he is always on time. He is molding and preparing you for something great. I pray that you will not only remember this today, but that you will remember this in the days to come.